Good evening, folks. Freddy Vazquez here with another episode of Basement Politics Unfiltered. This is a continuation of my privileges, perks, and benefits series. And today I want to talk about Cavanaugh and Kimball. That's James Cavanaugh and Wilson Kimball Cavanaugh, husband and wife team, who work in several of the different boards here in the city. But first, I wanted to just say really quick. I noticed some posts being made about me in some of the other news pages, and not to get into that because people say don't get into that, Freddie. Don't even. And I know. Just want to tell you to ignore that. Yes, I can be a little bit passionate, and I can be a little bit, animated when it comes to things. But always my intentions are good. And this is why I have Basement Politics. And I just want to keep bringing you information and making the people aware of what's going on here in the city. So just want to get that out the way. But anyway, going on to my topic of discussion and doing my research, because I've been doing a lot of research. I've been going over, different individuals in the city of Yonkers, finding out a history about them. Learning about the history of politics and some of the elected officials and how they got to where they got to, and where they come from, where they start, and how they end up where they are here. And in doing my research, I came across something interesting, but not just in my own research. I have to say, I have been getting a little help. And someone, a birdie, pointed me in the right direction recently, and helped me out with tonight's episode. Now, this person is anonymous. I don't know who it is. Don't know if it's a woman. Don't know if it's a man. Don't know if they're in America, if they're in Yonkers. I do get a text, and very good information. The information that I'm getting, a lot of people don't even know about it. And they're surprised that I know. And one of that piece of information was a little bit of the history of James Cavanaugh and his the investigation into him when he worked over at the Battery Park Authority. And I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with that. I didn't know anything about it, and a lot of people didn't until my friend, the little birdie, sent me a text. And by the way, he also sent me another interest. Oh, I say he. I'm not sure why. So don't think that I know and that it's a man. Could be a woman. I tend to say he. But this person also pointed me in a direction that I'm continuing to dig. I don't want to get too much into it today, but it involves campaign finance and bypassing of campaign finance laws. A certain elected official, apparently through a company that he or someone related to him owns, and it's been, according to the birdie, being used as a way to, or as a vehicle to bypass campaign finance laws and potentially get payments for favors. Now, am I saying that this is true? No. This is why I'm also not mentioning any names. But apparently, the individual believes that this was or is a perfect solution to bypassing campaign finance laws and getting extra money. And by the way, the company that has one employee also applied for a PPP loan and received an award of almost $90,000. Interesting. Interesting. A lot of people took out PPP loans. Did they need them? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't take one out. Although people asked if why I should have. But I didn't think I needed it. Maybe I should have. But I'll be talking about that a little bit more in the near future as I investigate further and get more details, such as who are the clients and how much are these clients paying for the services. So I'll be looking into that. But anyway, going back to my topic of today, Mr. James Cavanaugh and Wilson Kimball, who are very instrumental, or at least Miss Kimball is, in our electoral process. She got a lot of credit for some of the wins that occurred during the last election. So anyway, a little bit of history about Mr. Cavanaugh, and I'm going to share something here with you. Just bear with me. Okay, here we go. And what you see here, and I'm going to enlarge it for you. State of New York, Office of the Inspector General. Well, I've been talking a lot about Inspector Generals, haven't I? This Inspector General seems a bit more honest. Investigation of the Battery Park City Authority, November 2010. Give you a little background of what the Battery Park City Authority is, and I think it's important. Why? The Battery Park City Authority was created in 1968 with the enactment of the Title 12 of the Public Authorities Law to address substandard, insanitary, and deteriorated conditions, rampant in the area of the Lower West Side of Manhattan, known as the Battery Park Project area. So it's kind of like, the downtown area of Yonkers, back in the day. The authority is a public benefit corporation governed by a 7-member board of directors appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of the Senate. The authority finances its infrastructure investments through the issuance of bonds and notes. The authority owns Battery Park City, enters into long-term leases with private entities to develop the area and generate funds for its budget from these lease payments. These monies are also used to repay bondholders. Any surplus funds, by operation of law, are remitted to New York City and New York State. So if they have a surplus, extra money, it's supposed to go back to the city and the state. Let me just give you a little background of Mr. Cavanaugh. James Cavanaugh served as authority president and CEO during the period of the Inspector General's review. Cavanaugh resigned his position as president of the authority effective October 1st, 2010. While president, his duties included overseeing the day-to-day operation of the authority's approximately 59 employees. Cavanaugh graduated from Fordham University with a degree in communications. He worked as a reporter for the Gannett, Westchester newspaper for 5 years. He then was employed as a communications director for State Senator Nicholas Spano. For the years of 1994 through 2004, he was elected Eastchester supervisor. In 2003, he was hired by the authority as its chief operating officer and then became president and chief executive officer in 2005. Now, let's move on to the interesting stuff. Allegations and methodology. In November 2008, the Inspector General received a complaint which alleged fraud and corruption at the Battery Park Authority involving then Chairman James Gill, then President James Cavanaugh, Vice President of Human Resources Robert Holden, and Senior Vice President of Operations Wilson Kimball. According to the complaint, Cavanaugh was romantically involved with a subordinate, Wilson Kimball, and as a result of this relationship, she received undue perks, privileges, perks, and benefits. In addition, it was alleged that no one crossed Kimball because any slight gets taken directly to Cavanaugh. Don't mess with my woman. It was alleged that the authority provided Gill a vehicle and a driver to which he was not entitled and hid the expenses. In addition, it was alleged that Gill hired a friend's consulting firm. Remember that, consulting firm. Put that in your notes if you're taking notes, which failed to earn its substantial fees. Other allegations included the dismissal of the authority's controller. Wonder why. Contrary to written policies, a retaliatory termination of a manager for documenting a complaint concerning Cavanaugh, Kimball, and Holden, and the whitewashing of an investigation by the Vice President of Internal Audit, Lisa Miller, at Cavanaugh's direction. Interesting. After receiving initial complaints, the Inspector General contacted the authorities. The authorities recently terminated controller Deborah Bogsian, and received similar allegations, including claims that the authority was improperly providing a vehicle and a driver for James Gill, concerns about contributions. Now, this is important here. Concerns about contributions, donations made by the authority. And I'll tell you what some of the organizations were that he made contributions to. Assertions that unqualified individuals were hired for top-level positions. Does that sound familiar, Yonkers? And allegations that a consulting firm was being well paid for an insignificant amount of work because of the relationship with the chairman. Does that sound familiar? Bogsian, also alleged that her termination was improperly influenced by Wilson Kimball, as she believed that Cavanaugh favored Kimball. Well, he did. They're married, aren't they? Now, the authority's revenue, summary of investigation, abuse of authority funds. The authority's revenue is realized largely from lease payments by property developers in Battery Park City. Now, think about that. This is similar to the YIDA and the Economic Development Board. The authority's revenue is realized largely from lease payments by property developers in Battery Park City. For example, in 2008, the 92-acre site produced approximately $270 million in revenue for the authority. The authority uses that money generated to operate the authority and repay bondholders. So the money that the city receives, particularly like the YIDA, and the city receives from lease payments from city property, is supposed to go back to pay bondholders and other expenses. And so just important, remember that, because these individuals are operating here now. Again, the authority uses the money generated to operate the authority and repay bondholders, while the remainder of the funds under operation of law is remitted to New York City and the state. As such, a low authority operational budget ensures the benefit of the public, and any abuse and waste of funds necessarily deprives the public of much needed resources. So that's important. So let's get down to what was going on. For the years of 2005 to 2008, the authority spent more than $184,000 on parties, picnics, and gifts, an average of more than $45,000 per year. The bulk of the money was spent on the authority's holiday party held in December and its annual picnic held in July. The remainder was spent on events such as farewell parties for departing employees and acknowledgement gifts. Check out some of the parties this guy was throwing. In 2005, the picnic had a Western theme for which the authority purchased items such as cowboy hats, rented photo fronts with jailhouse scenes. Yeah, maybe that's for anyway, it's telling what's coming, maybe, right? With jailhouse scene and a cowgirl. Provided pony rides at a cost of $1,000. Hired face painting artists at a cost of 600 and arranged for field games and contests at a cost of $2,200. In 2006, the authority had a 1950s themed party or picnic and purchased decorations, which included music notes, records, and a banner. In 2007, a baseball theme. So they spent lavishly. He spent lavishly on these parties, lavishly. The authority also spent lavishly on holiday parties, spending an average of $14,000 a year from 2005 to 2008. Wow. Wow. Moving on down a little bit. This just let me get to authority. The authority routinely catered meetings and paid for business lunches for the executives. So also he was using the funds to pay for lavish lunches and dinners to schmooze people. From 2005 through 2008, the authority expended almost $163,000 for travel and entertainment expenses. Kind of entertainment. It should be noted that with the exception of an annual green building conference for 6 employees, travel does not comprise of a large percentage of this budget category. Instead, the majority of the expenditures are derived from meals, primarily lunches for authority employees. Employees were permitted to expense lunch to the authority by either obtaining pre-approval from the department head to charge lunch to an authority credit card or submit a receipt for reimbursement. The inspector general determined that in 2007 alone, the authority spent approximately $30,000 on these meals, roughly 75% of the $39,000 budget. Wow. Wow. Interesting. And here, this is an interesting one. The authority spent over $300,000 for annual rent of more than $50,000 to lease an apartment. From January 2003 through early 2009, the authority leased an apartment at the Solaire, a residential complex in Battery Park City, at an annual cost of more than $50,000 per year. This amount does not include maintenance and furnishing costs. The Solaire was awarded the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Gold certification, in case you were interested in knowing that. According to Cavanaugh, since the Solaire, listen to this. According to Cavanaugh, since the Solaire was an innovative green building, the authority leased the apartment to provide tours in attempt to promote and encourage environmentally friendly construction. Right. In addition, on occasions, vendors and other authority guests stayed at the apartment. Prior to commencement of the Inspector General's investigation, Kavanaugh had decided not to renew the lease. Yeah, I think that was a smart move. The allegations, check this out. The allegations appeared in the New York Post that this apartment was being used as a love's nest. The Inspector General found no evidence to support this allegation. Well, unless he was going to have pictures or videos of them actually doing something. Otherwise, he can just easily say, well, we were just going in there for business reasons, right? Now, here's another important one before I get to some other stuff. I finished reading this off. Substantial contributions made by the authority did not directly relate to its mission. The Inspector General learned that from 2004 through 2008, the authority contributed approximately $4.2 million to nonprofit organizations. The Inspector General found that contributions were made to organizations which on their face do not directly relate to the authority's mission, which according to its website is to plan, create, and coordinate and maintain a balanced community of commercial, residential, retail, and park space within a designated 92-acre site. Right? Sounds familiar to what some of these boards, like the YIDA and the Economic Development Board and the Community Development Board should be doing. Since 2004, the authority's contributions have included, and listen to this, you might recognize one of them, Queens Botanical Gardens, Queens Public Library Foundation, Staten Island Development Corporation, Queens Theater in the Park, United Nations World Food Program, Asian American Legal Defense Fund, and the Yonkers Puerto Rican Day Parade, Chinatown, YMCA, and the Auburn University Foundation. The dude actually sent money to an university that is located in Alabama. Nothing to do with Battery Park. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Let me go to some comments. Maybe that IG should teach Liam a few lessons on how to conduct proper investigations. Oh, wait, Liam hasn't investigated no one in Yonkers except the man that beat him. Interesting that you say that. Then why is he getting paid so much money? He's obviously not doing his job because there's a lot to investigate. I should have been a private investigator or something. Premonition. Yes. Are you talking about the background with the jailhouse pictures? Hmm. Now, I just want to show you really quick how much these two are raking in here in the city of Yonkers. How much? Because again, perks, privileges, and benefits. It seems like every elected official or someone appointed to some board has a husband, a spouse, a child, a brother, a sister, or more working for the city. There are so many people that would hope to get a city job. You know how many times I hear someone say, "Man, I was waiting for 10 years, a long time, and I can't get on. I've applied, I've applied, I've applied, and they can't get on. Why is that? Hmm? Why is that?" I wanted to show you the salaries here for the two here, Wilson, Kimball, and Cavanaugh, so you can see how much they're making as well. Sorry, I actually clicked it off for some reason, but I'm bringing it up here now. And you can go on to the Yonkers website and see this stuff. You know, it's not hard to find, and you can see for yourself. And I'll share that here. Let's go to C.A. C.A.V.A. I actually thought it was spelled with a K at first. Let's go a little down on my alphabet here. All right, so here you go. We have James. He's listed as deputy mayor, but he's no longer the deputy mayor. He's now the president and CEO of the YIDA, Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. Well, he was raking in $193,000. Wait a minute. How is he making $193,000 as the deputy mayor? How much is the mayor making? I thought the mayor was making less than that. Let's see. That's interesting. Where is he at? We have Vincent, Nicholas, Mike, Mayor, 156,000. How is James Cavanaugh, the deputy mayor, how is he making more at $193,000? Can someone explain that to me? Who's really pulling the strings here? I'm sure with the connections made up in Albany. So here you have, again, he was deputy mayor at $193,000. Miss Wilson Kimball Cavanaugh, commissioner at one point of planning and development, $84,000. So they just rotate positions because currently Miss Wilson Kimball, as of 2020, became the chief operating officer of the municipal housing, actually CEO, chief executive officer and president. So while she is the president and CEO of the municipal housing authority, hubby, who she met while he was married, is the president and CEO of the YIDA. The Municipal Housing Authority for the city of Yonkers announced today the appointment of Wilson Kimball as president and CEO. Kimball succeeds Joseph Schildiner, who is retiring. Excuse me if I don't pronounce his last names correctly. Excuse me. Who is retiring after having served as the Municipal Housing Authority's executive director for the past 13 years. Kimball, who was appointed, whose appointment is effective April 13th, has served as commissioner of planning and development for the city of Yonkers since 2013. Yes, but they also forgot to mention that She also served on the Yonkers waterfront development, waterfront bid development, whatever you call that. How do they get these jobs? How do they continue to get these jobs? Somebody answered that. James has been the chairman, and this is for the partner at Empire Strategic Planning. So I'm trying to connect the dots here. So I know individuals like to say that I'm all over the place. I need to focus in on one thing, but I am. The focus is the inner circle. This web of individuals that have been leeching and parasite on the city of Yonkers for far too long now. And this is how they operate. So I want to show you that. I want to give you pieces of the clues, and you have to work with me to put it together. So look at Empire Strategic Planning, Nicholas Spano's consulting firm, who, by the way, utilizes the legal services of Harris Beach. Everyone seems to utilize the legal services of Harris Beach, almost every IDA, Peekskill IDA, Orange County IDA, which was recently investigated by the Inspector General. So if you look at what I have up there, it says Jim has been chairman of the foundation since 2011. Jim served as president of the Battery Park City Authority, where he resigned, as I just mentioned there, from 2005 through 2010. His tenure saw significant construction at Battery Park City, including the Goldman Sachs headquarters. Doesn't mention anything about the misappropriation of funds, the Love Nest, none of that stuff. But it shows him as a partner. Is that ethical? Is there any ethics issues there? But how can we trust that the Yonkers Board of Ethics is going to be honest when the secretary's wife filed to incorporate the Committee for Better Yonkers? Not very ethical. You want to know why? Because the Committee for Better Yonkers attacked Mike Cater in the most disgusting way. The only person that I see on that council that was for the people. And they attacked them. If they were really truly there for a better Yonkers, then why did they attack Mr. Cater and spend so much money on campaign ads like this? Man, they really worked to try to make him look like I don't know, some kind of like old school mobster there. But I know Mike Cater, and no, his family is not paying me. And I'd be nice. I can take the check, but no, they're not paying me. But yeah, so that's what they did to Mr. Cater. That's just one of the many picks and ads and articles that they put out there, including robocalls and other flyers and mailers. Whole bunch of people got on as soon as Mike Cater lost the election. Most of those that got on only had applications put in less than 90 days. Wow. And I believe it. Meanwhile, I know 7 people that have been pending applications over a year now in the same departments that these new hires with applications less than 90 days pay to play is alive. Will Liam look into that? Liam, are you watching? Because people are talking about my show. Good, bad, indifferent, they're talking. And I know Liam is because I was summoned to City Hall. So if I was summoned to City Hall because of my show, I'm sure that Liam's watching. What applications? LOL. Human Resources is now located in the mayor's office. I was told by an insider that is now out. He paid $10,000 for a job. Yes, I heard that as well from 2 different individuals. You make them 3. Actually, one individual told me it was $20,000. If you pay $20,000, you can get yourself a job. Look at DPW new hires less than 90 days. In fact, I know many Latinos and African Americans here in the city of Yonkers who have applied and have been waiting, have been reapplying, have been waiting. What they're told is get a job with the Parks Department at the lowest level and then work your way up and wait. And and that's how you get in there. But yes, a lot of people have waited and are still waiting. I know someone who finally made it onto the sanitation department after 10 years. 10 years. That's an honest story. That was Stephen Turret and Christopher Arnold that ran the campaign for Liam. Hmm. Hmm. So we have to see you have to start seeing the picture here, right? So these individuals have a history, have a history of improperly spending money, blowing finances. And why is that important? Why should we know that? Because the gentleman is the president of the IDA. The IDA is the agency that has been awarding millions and millions of tax dollars, or I should say tax breaks and other financial benefits to these developers. And they're not benefiting the city. They're not benefiting the city. It's a few developers. The developers over at Lionsgate that own the lot, they're the ones that built the iPark. They're the ones that also bought the building over there, 470 Neperhan, where the YIDA, all these other real estate agencies for the city and even development companies are located in. So all I'm saying is that we have to have some oversight here, because if not, we're going to have another Battery Park Authority if we don't already. And how will we know when Liam is a part of the inner circle? So he starts off as a Gannett newspaper journalist. He goes over to Nick Spano's office up in Albany as a communications director for 10 years. Does a little stint in Eastchester where he had a problem there. And then went over to Battery Park. We had another problem there before coming over to Yonkers to give us problems. He brought along his hubby or wifey. And they're enriching themselves, huh? Purchased a condominium up in Bronxville. People don't even live in the city of Yonkers, but they're giving out Yonkers tax money. Jim Cavanaugh named new president CEO of Yonkers IDA that was May 11th, 2021. So give a guy who was partners, or probably still is a partner, in a real estate consulting company or a development company like Empire Strategic Planning, which sole purpose is to build relationships with elected officials in various municipalities in order to get your developers in there, to get them city property, to get them YIDA money. So I'm going to place my partner in the YIDA and my sister-in-law. I got it locked. Calling all developers. You want to develop in Yonkers? I'm the guy you come see. So we located one shell company. We're going to find them all. We know where the money, we're looking for the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. So true. They are trying to consolidate to save taxpayers' money. Right. You are a Yonkers resident. You are a Yonkers taxpayer. You have to voice your opinion. Your concerns. We all have to voice our concerns. Liam McLaughlin, if you investigated Mike Cater, you should be opening up investigations into Councilman Rubo, into the YIDA, particularly after knowing the issues he had over at Battery Park. Let's look at Mr. Cavanaugh's contributions. What do you contribute to? Friends of Nick Spano, Friends of Nick Spano, Friends of Mike Spano, Working Families Party, the same party that ran Henry John Balaj, his wife, against Rubo in the bootleg race. Is no one upset about that? Anyone in the 4th District care? I know some people do. Friends of Amy Pauling, New Yorkers for Klein. So you see, he's donated to this panel, Nick and Mike, and that's how you do it. You want to get a position of power, you donate, you do the bidding. So, folks, you have to see who are the individuals that we have in our government, in these city agencies that are making decisions that are impacting us all. We are upset, we complain, the schools, the traffic, the quality of life, the cost of living, rising taxes. You don't think any of these developments have anything to do with the cost of taxes going up or your cost of living overall going up? Are you a renter? Your rent's gone up. You're a homeowner? Water bill has gone up. All the new renters coming in to the developments are going to be using water. A lot more water. Who's going to supplement that cost? Increase in taxes. Again, 3-family homes or more will be treated like a developer. Like a commercial building, like a big development building. When it comes to the garbage, you're going to have an extra expense there. Yes, this is true. Well, Nick Spano is a realtor with Rand Realty and selling Yonkers properties, connecting the dots. Absolutely. He got his real estate license. Anyone in real estate, if you have a felony, particularly because you committed fraud, are you still allowed to get a license, a real estate license? I know in Wall Street down when I got my Series 7 license, I did get arrested. I got arrested one time for trespassing. Not in the building department. Actually, it was on Riverdale where I lived. It was BS. They dropped it, but it came up that little bit. But they want to see really if someone has any problems with money or convictions for stealing money, because when you're dealing with money, they got to check for that stuff. So I'm just curious. Anyone know? Anyone know? So Yonkers, there you have it. I mean, I don't have much else to share. That is Wilson Cavanaugh. Wilson Kimball Cavanaugh and James Cavanaugh, husband and wife team. I want to share with you this article from the Post. Can you see it? 1 year, the agency. Okay, wait. Let me go up. Look at this picture. Beautiful. This is Mr. Cavanaugh right here. No, this is not Wilson Kimball. Similarities, yeah, but not her. There's no such thing as free lunch unless you're an executive at Battery Park City Authority, a top state watchdog said yesterday. Inspector General Joseph Fish blasted the Lower Manhattan Housing Agency for squandering nearly $350,000 on parties, gifts, and lunches amid complaints of filing and favoritism among the top executive. Allegations first reported last year by the Post. The watchdog's 34-page report found that officials squandered some $100,000 in public money on catered lunches between 2005 and 2008, and $45,000 annually on picnics, going away bashes, and open bar holiday parties. Yes, open bar. They pay for everyone to get drunk. Should the city be spending money? So I want to know, are these guys having these parties? So going back to Somos, that caused a lot of stir. My post on Somos, and if you don't know what that is, it's an event in Puerto Rico that took place in early November. Many of the elected officials attended, and they left immediately after election night. Some of them actually showed up at the Castle Royale in sweatpants and looking comfortable, and I was confused. I thought it was, we were looking nice here. But then I understood why. They were all going to hang out there for the night, taking shots, and they headed off to Somos. Now, was that an expense paid for by the city? Liam, can you answer that question? Hmm? What inappropriate spending is going on? Where is the YIDA money? Where are the financial statements? Where are the benefits? What are the the findings, the studies showing that these developments are benefiting the city? That the money, the tax breaks that are being given away are benefiting the city. Where is the money? Where is the financial statements? According to PKF O'Connor Davies, the city of Yonkers does a great job keeping financial records. However, I couldn't find anything past 2019 and at times 2018. Hmm. But if you know anything about PKF O'Connor Davies, they're not going to say anything bad about the city. They get all the audit contracts, whether the city of Yonkers, the Greystone Foundation, they do right by the certain people, they get more business, similar to Harris Beach. Harris Beach is representing IDAs all up and down the state. Rubel told someone it was paid for with campaign funds and personal money. It was. Certain individuals that were there, I'm not sure if they were in the financial position to pay for the trip. When I put that post up, it caused a lot of stir. In fact, I was threatened with a lawsuit by an individual who I saw the other day at the city council meeting. Just so happened to be walking in at the same time. Didn't say anything to each other. And I also received calls from people who were actually in Puerto Rico. Yeah, people texted and called me from Puerto Rico. So you see this guy named Freddy Vazquez, he isn't so crazy. He knows exactly what he's doing. I'm coming for you. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better help the poor. I will make a bet 10-1 Leon will not investigate anything in the city that leads to Mayor Nick Spano, baby brother, and his puppets. Absolutely. But if a letter is sent to him, and we know that it is, we have proof, and he doesn't do anything, what will that mean? What will that mean? Tune in this Sunday. I'm not going to do another podcast till this Sunday because I'm going to be digging deep. I'm going to find out about this campaign finance bypass that someone thinks is a perfect solution. I want to know who the clients are. What are the consulting services you provide? And how much for? And if you have one employee making $18,900 a year, why did you apply for a PPP loan for $90,000? That's taxpayer money. And trust me, you don't need it. So tune in on Sunday because I will be talking about a certain city council member and a potential shell company used to bypass campaign finance laws and to potentially accept payments for favors. Tune in this Sunday at 9. Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. I'm coming. Make America great again. Vote Donald Trump.